There we go. There we go. We are live. We are live.
Yes,
Coming
sir.
to you guys for the Freedom Unleashed show every single Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm with my guy, Erik, Dijon, my other boy, Hershell, Hudson. Some straight billionaires on this show here. How's everyone doing?
Billy Killers. Man, if I was any better, I'd be both of you combined. So it's a beauty of a day. Ready to get this thing rolling and get some people excited here.
Absolutely. So Erik, just a background. So you're actually the one who had chosen this name for the show here. Where did this name come from? Freedom Unleashed. What is this about? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of wrong information out there, and that if people just got around the right people and forgot about a lot of the information that, society teaches us, and that, family and friends all kind of are like brainwashed into teaching everybody and getting everybody to do the same thing. It's just about, being able to get yourself in the right environments and just necessary steps to really break free from all of that nonsense, right? That just straight like life that nobody really enjoys, right? But they all do it just because everybody tells them to do it. So just about, really unleash exactly what it says, right? Freedom unleashed. Like start to figure out how you can create your own life and have the freedom that you want. Loede, let's send it back to you, dude. So you're from a small town, right? Small city, Cleveland, Ohio. Right, and now you're like a great example of somebody who's unleashed their freedom, right? Decided to do that because I know the kind of the background of you, where you grew up, and then now like the life you live, the obviously the agency you've grown in the insurance industry, and now you're able to like look where you're at now in Miami, living and doing pretty much just like choosing your freedom, your lifestyle. So I guess, what would be some of what are some of like the main things that you've done to transition, that your life like that?
Yeah, Erik, it definitely goes back to what you were saying earlier about stripping away the wrong information, the wrong data that the society, the world, the universe, our upbringings, teachers have tried to program us into. Right? Because ultimately the biggest barrier from people going from point A, where they're currently at in their life, to point B, where they currently want to be, to have true financial freedom, true indestructible wealth, is the information that they have, right? We talk about this all the time, is like the information that you have is either holding you back, which the majority of the universe has the wrong information that's holding them back from reaching their full capabilities and reaching their full potential. Or the second side of it is that we have the right information, and that's allowing us to move towards true financial freedom and true success that we want to create in our life. So the first thing that's really helped me tremendously is just stripping away the bad data, the wrong information. And it's not the easiest thing to do. And then secondly, getting in a new environment. So right when I got into the insurance industry, I moved. So I'm like, man, like I've been here in Cleveland, Ohio for the past 18 years. I need to get away from everything because obviously it's not working for me. So I just up and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. So two of the biggest drastic changes that happened was getting rid of the wrong information, then adding the right information, and then also moving away from that zip code, getting into a new zip code, getting into a new environment, surrounding myself with new people, and also just really getting rid of all those negative individuals, the suppressive individuals, getting rid of the liabilities of my life, things that I was doing, people that I was hanging around, places that I was going to, right? So really just a clear evaluation and awareness check on myself. 7-8 years ago, straight out of high school, I'm like, man, things aren't working well. Next thing I know, I'm gonna be dead or in prison doing the same things that I was doing if I continued that trajectory. So I'm like, dude, something's got to change. And I found my mentor, Grant Cardone, and boom, like
You're telling me Grant got you out of prison?
He did. Because that's ultimately what we're all in.
Right.
A lot of us in the universe, man, good to see you, Hershell. A lot of us in the universe, in this universe, as us being spiritual beings capable of so much, we're literally trapped in a cage. We're in the prison, right? We're in the matrix.
Every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just realizing that prison doesn't actually have any walls, right? You're the one keeping yourself there.
That's right. Hershell, going back to what we were talking about, glad you're back here with us.
Sorry, I'll get the mic next time. I promise you guys.
We can hear you loud and clear. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we both know you. Obviously, we've both known each other for a few years. Tell the audience who you are, what you do, and why they should listen to you.
My name's Hershell Hudson. I own a water softener company here in Florida. I've been in the water treatment and solar industry for a few years. And for the only reason you should be listening to me is because Ryan's talking right above me. And then you got Erik over here too. And then you just happen to catch some of the words that I'm going to say when these G's are talking. But that would be a little bit about me and who I am. I just hope that everybody will open their eyes up. I'm a super big 10X Grant Cardone fan too, which is how we all met. You know, it's funny, when I started listening to Grant Cardone, there was nobody in my life that cared about Grant, was into this sort of thing, and everybody was telling me to shut up. And it was no sooner than when I heard the Millionaire booklet, when he's like, you want to see how it is? Go tell somebody you just picked up the Millionaire booklet, how to get super rich. And I guarantee you, somebody, and the next guy I said it to did, the only guy who's going to get rich is the dude who wrote the book. Right. And then later, because of Grant, he brings all these awesome people into my life that I've gotten to meet and learn from, like the two people above me here on the podcast.
Absolutely. I love it, man.
Yeah. So to go back to what you were saying, Ryan, about like you were able to strip away all that information, change your environment and stuff. So like, obviously everybody wants to have that, to be able to change their life to do that. So I guess what are some of the would you say, like, obviously the pros everybody knows of freedom, right, is obviously you get to make your own choices. Like, you get to wake up at whatever time you want, you get to make your own decisions, you don't have to necessarily be anywhere, like you get to choose that, right? So what would you say are some of like the hardships, right? Because a lot of people don't talk about that on social media. They just want to make it seem like it's butterflies and it's, you know, it's fucking the life's so good. But what are like some of the things you actually have to go through that most people will not talk about and will not see unless they do it?
That's a great question. I mean, the biggest thing that you're going to have to go through when you really start to change your life and you really start to make changes, you start to improve yourself. Yourself is definitely what you're going to get from outside individuals. Just kind of talking about what Hershell was saying, is that like, when you start to change yourself, when you start to improve, you're going to get so much unsolicited advice. You're going to get a lot of naysayers, even more haters, and people are going to be like, wow, you're changed. Like you changed. Like, hey, do you want me to stay the same as I was? Or do you want me to change into a better person? So that's one of the biggest things that you're going to run into when you start to change your life, when you start to really, make a big shift with how you think, how you operate, the decisions you make, the way you live your life, the way you use your time. One of the biggest things is just all the outside people in your life. And then that goes back to what I was saying earlier. When you start to change, when you start to shift, when you start to, better yourself and become the best version of yourself, you're gonna have to remove things, those liabilities, and you're gonna have to continually evaluate your life, be continuously aware of like what's going on, who's in my life that is an asset, who's not an asset, right? What are some things in my life that are a liability that I have to remove, right? So when you move forward in life, the biggest thing that's like one of the biggest barriers is the people in your life. If those people in your life, when you're changing, when you're winning, when you're succeeding, when you're making like these shifts in your life, if they're not happy, if they're not like, wow, like I'm glad to see, like you need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Stop dragging them up the ladder with you.
Yeah. And that's one of the best parts about social media too in today's day and age, because now it's you can literally just press a button and you can attract your tribe, right?
And get rid of them.
You're gonna automatically figure out, who wants to work with you, who's against you, who you thought was your friend who actually isn't, right? And so you need to weed the people out in order to get to the next level. You're not gonna find millionaires, multimillionaires, or anybody even above that hanging out with people or having the same thoughts and conversations with people that are operating at a much lower range. Doesn't mean you can't be friends with them and be cool with them, because I have plenty of people that but what I'm saying is you got to be able to. I
got garbage monster friends too. I'm just kidding.
So lost my train of thought there. Yeah, but that's something that you have to. You have to change in order to actually find those people, because. And it's just a way to announce, like, this is what I'm doing, who wants to join, and that's how a lot of people making money online nowadays. That they're just attracting their tribe through doing that, and then weeding out all the people, and obviously that attack speed compresses time to get to where they're trying to go, because they're getting rid of those people, right, that aren't going to want to be involved quicker, rather than having to drag it on, and then now it took you an extra 2 years because you weren't willing to give up what you needed to go there.
100%, dude. I agree with you. A million. You can't drag them with you, man. Right? And then you got to go. So you got to get rid of the people that you don't want, and then you got to get the people you do want. And I think it gets easier if you're the person that you want to be. Or what do you guys think?
No, that's so true. I mean, when you're being your true, authentic self, you're gonna attract people that are their true, authentic self as well. If you're true to yourself, if you're authentic, you have a good heart, you're gonna attract the same type of people around you as well. You're just gonna, you're gonna hang around and surround yourself with people who are identical to who you are on the inside, right? If you're true to yourself, you're authentic, you speak your word, you're pretty ruthless with how you communicate, and you don't hold back how you feel. You're going to surround yourself with people like that. That's why a lot of people don't for example, Bradley, Grant Cardone, because they're so direct, and that's how we all are as well. We're very direct, we're straight to
the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
We tell the truth.
That's what nobody on these podcasts and all your videos, Ryan, understand, is how lucky they are. Because I'll tell you right now, you guys, if you were lucky enough to go hang out with this guy, he's not going to say hardly anything. This is the most I've ever seen him talk, I think, in the 3 years I've known him. That dude is reading a book. He is in his business. And if he is talking, he's talking to somebody on the phone about something that needs to get fixed before the end of the day. You will not listen to this guy rant. Definitely don't ask him how the last movie you saw was, or if he saw it. He's just going to tell you no. He might even be insulted you asked him. He's a difficult guy to hang out with, but that's why he might be a 20-something-year-old millionaire, right? Soon to be 20-something-year-old billionaire. At least has been my experience with hanging out with Ryan. It's all mirrored, so I feel like when I'm pointing, I'm going the wrong way. But I got you now. That's Ryan, and that's Eric. There it is. So excited to be on here, man. Erik, tell us about how being a professional athlete has influenced you into being a professional salesperson, closer, and just madman ruthlessness living on the beautiful side of Clearwater Beach.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same exact habits that you have to develop, right? You can translate those habits into anything you want to be great at in life, whether you want to be a great
habits.
A great cook, you want to be a great trainer, you want to be a great salesperson, great athlete, whatever it is. You just gotta adopt the habits that's successful. People try to make it so much more complicated than it actually is. It's really not that difficult. You just have to basically get the right, just like we're talking about getting the right information from people,
right.
You got to get the right information about how to be great, right? Who was great that did it, and what did they write down? And then did you actually duplicate what they said to do? Because a lot of people won't do that. That's the hard part, is the execution, right? Anybody can sit there and the work junkie or the success zombie, they just they get a sugar high off of thinking about it, but when it comes down to it, they're like, oh man, but then I got to do work, fuck that.
No,
I don't want it that bad. You know,
No,
so you just
not
gotta
work.
actually have the habits to like follow through. It's just discipline and having that strong. I think the desire part, like having that end goal in mind. I think for me, it was like I was able to do that repetitively every day, not even feeling like it was work. Most people think, oh, that's work, that's tough. But when you actually have the end goal in mind, which for me was to be a professional athlete, I'm a little kid, it's pretty damn easy to get up and do that for as many hours as you like. It's the same with now in business, you know?
Right.
You're a couple of future billionaires here, you know, we're building $1 billion empires. You know, we have that goal in mind. So like, we're going to be inspired, and we're going to take the action. That desire is going to push us to where we need to go. And that's really it.
100%. And since you did that as a pro athlete, which obviously you've been a go-getter your whole life, everybody was great, at least has greatness inside of them, right? So let me ask you guys a question. Would you hang out with you from 10 years ago? Or have you changed so much that person wouldn't be welcome at your table? Because that's how it is for me. I wouldn't eat at the same table as me. I wouldn't answer my question 10 years ago.
You know, a side of me is like, no, absolutely not. You know, coming from where I came from, that's not even like, there's no chance in hell. But then also it's like, man, like there's so many people that need help out there. And as long as they're willing and able and wanting to make a change and wanting to shift or adapt what they're doing, how they think, who they're surrounding themselves with, like, if I see an individual like that, man, I know I can tap into this individual and help them change the entire trajectory of their life. Right?
I agree with you 100%. And like, the only thing I'd say about it is like, you said it perfectly. If that person had all of those qualities, and that's 10 years ago what I was lacking. Even if I had the wanting, I just didn't have the discipline to carry through on my commitments. I could talk a big game, but I couldn't actually deliver, and I'd let people down. What do you think, Erik?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still.
You're born a badass. Always one. I'm not bad.
You're still. I feel like you're still. There's always a part of you that's still you. It's just your overall. Like, you have to change to actually attract like a higher level. So like 10 years ago, I mean, I don't do that. Like 10 years ago, I was drinking booze like 4 or 5 times a week, like just getting wasted. You know, just like heavy on alcohol. You know, smoking weed, like all that shit. So I don't do that anymore, right? But I'm still the same like goofball that I was, but I just like a much more like my goals have changed. So obviously I have those different. So I wouldn't be doing the same things. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you still,
100%.
You know, I definitely still enjoy a great time, and you know, it doesn't mean like that, like I hated that person, you know, because I always loved myself, you know. I feel like, you know, we all have, that's how you improve quicker, if you actually like yourself, right? If y'all have been successful in everything that you've done pretty quickly in life, it's because if you have a high belief of yourself, you're gonna actually be more inspired to you know, want to be great.
To be great and to actually want to do it if you believe in yourself. I agree 100%. That's probably what most people is. They didn't, you know, at least back then, you know, I believed in myself, but almost in a silly, arrogant, crazy manner. You know, what are you really doing to actually get towards these dreams you have of who you think you're supposed to be one day? And I can tell you, nobody around me had those dreams. I mean, maybe they do deep down inside, but nobody's confessing them and, you know, praising them and edifying those beliefs to become real in their minds. Those were all who I was surrounded by. I did similar to Ryan, which was packed up everything, left in a car that everybody told me was going to break down before I got there, and then found this industry later. But it was funny because as soon as I wanted it bad enough, I started getting it finally. But it's not like what I really wanted. Everybody says they want this and they want that, but what are you really doing with your time? What you're doing is what you want to do. And when people say I need to do this, it's always, you really got to change it to I want to do this, is what I'm starting to believe, at least in my life.
Yeah, I learned about that in Beyond Positive Thinking, right? If you're always like, I need to do this, I need to, I have to, like, your subconscious isn't going to register that as greatly as it could if you're like, I want to do this, because we all want to do things. If you don't actually want to do it, it's going to be even tougher to actually do it. So when it comes time to like, man, like, you know, I want to change, you know, what's going on in my life. I want to change who I'm surrounding myself with, right? I want to change, you know, the results I'm getting in my life. You know, if you actually want to do it, things are going to change. You know, I posted this quote that I got from 10X Mentor this morning. It's like, if you want to change, like, you can't surround yourself with average people,
right?
If you're trying to get rid of like an average life. one of the biggest things. One of the biggest things there is like, and that's what we're, you know, a lot of things that we're talking about right now is like changing who we surround ourselves with, you know, and it's actually, are you going to pay the price for having average people in your life that keep you average?
Costing you billions, you know?
Yeah.
All that waste of time. Are they really worth that much? Are you worth that much to them?
Yep.
What do you think, Eric? Oh, my bad.
No, that's, yeah. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, right? You can't get rid of an average life if you're spending all your time around average people, right? That aren't, yeah. I mean, that's all that. It's I've been seeing a lot of people talk about like solitude lately. I mean, because I'm thinking like, how do you actually grow, right? The easiest way to grow is just to spend a lot of time with yourself, right? Because when we're growing up, we actually never spend time with ourselves, and the only thoughts we have is what everybody feeds us, right? So we just automatically believe all that shit. So the only way to actually like not believe it is to not be around them and to like go by yourself and like have your own thoughts. Like someone was saying, like, he knows billionaires that they just spend 1 to 2 hours every day just to think. Like, they set aside time to think, right? So like, once you actually get by yourself and start thinking and like questioning things, start to like, I wonder if that's a good option. Or like, has that been adding value? Like, what's been happening the last 3 times that I went and did that? That I actually like, was it actually a good use of my time, or like, could I be using my time better to do this, and this? You know, because time is our most valuable asset, right? Like, we trade money for time, and that's how it's got to be. So, but like, we can't be using that time for things that aren't going to get a return. And if it's continuously just not getting a return, then it's a liability, and you just got to get rid of it and move forward.
That's a really good point you make, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys right now, what's one thing right now that you think that anybody at any level could invest their time in that would be a positive benefit they could start cashing in on tomorrow?
Personal development. The single best investment you can make is back in yourself. Number 1, back in yourself. Number 2, back in your business. Number 3, back into an investment vehicle or an investment asset.
Number 1, backing yourself. Number 2, backing
your business.
And then 3, an investment vehicle.
Something that we all do. You know, I go broke all the time just pumping money into my business.
Love it.
Pumping money into my business. I know you do, Hershell. I know you do.
Oh, no. My business never needs a bunch of money all the time to survive. Nobody that works here wants to get paid. Nobody likes cash.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, number 1 is definitely going to be yourself. Investing right back in yourself.
First step, have a place that you get paid to work at. Step 2, build a place you pay to work at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just investing in yourself, right? Because we got to become the person that we need to be in order to attract, you know, a higher goal, a higher version of ourselves. So we just got to focus on becoming that person, and then also you know, solitude. Get to know yourself, because like, there's no way that we can get to know others at our best self and get them to know us if we don't even know ourselves. So spending like that solid time alone and figuring out like what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. And a lot of it is just like the things that you're not doing, which is like what aren't you doing? Like, are you like, what are your habits on the weekends? Because you're going to have to, if you want like higher levels in life, you got to sacrifice weekends. Like, believe me, I used to love fucking weekends. My whole life was the weekends. Like, that's all, like, my whole week was a weekend, right? But once you actually, instead of going out and eating like shit and just like, you know, that takes a toll on your body. Instead of doing that, like, stay in, work on yourself, work on like your next big play, whatever it is, right? And do like healthy things. Work out a few times a day, right? Go to read books, right? Make some calls.
Okay.
Put together, like, move towards.
These are all good habits to build.
Drink a bunch of water, drink a shit ton of water, like a gallon at least per day of alkaline, 9.5 Kangen. By the way, if you want one, Hershell, if you could drop the link, or Ryan, just kidding. But for real, you guys should get a Kangen machine if you don't already have one.
Water
it is
everywhere.
Changing like the water you drink, right? The food that you eat, and just like your mindset, right? Like having a positive mindset. Like, what are you growing in your mind?
Right.
Is it positive, or is it just like, are you growing weeds in there?
That's a great point. What's another example of a bad habit that you would think of, Erik? So people should give up?
So that's a great question. The chasing a lot of girls, right? Like, dudes out there, all they want to do is just chase, especially in their 20s. Like, dude, holy shit, they could just
telling y'all.
If more
settle
dudes
down,
not chase girls and just realize, like, dude, it's so easy to get girls. Okay, what's harder is achieving your dreams. So if you can just like focus on becoming better, a better you, like, you're gonna attract a way better girl that, like, you're not gonna have to freaking go through, like,
it's not fair to them.
A ton of them.
It's not fair to the
that is a huge. That's like,
you yet.
Think about it. That's like the main reason why so many people don't do what we're talking about for 3 days of the week, because that day hits. So like, okay, we gotta go out, we gotta girls, and I get it, but dude, like, that's a huge waste of time. Like, you're literally splitting your weekend. Like, you're getting half the amount of time. Like, you just can't compete with somebody who's not doing that. That's in the same space as you. They're just gonna fucking steamroll you.
I mean, you're wasting the girl's time. You're not even you yet. You're irresponsible. You can't even keep your commitments to yourself yet. How are you going to keep your commitments to her? Why don't you just go ahead and save everybody some heartache and get working on your business?
Yep. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, the first thing that you're going to have to do, and I'm looking back at myself 7-8 years ago, the first thing that you're going to have to improve is yourself, as we're talking about. You can't improve any other area, any other dynamic of your life before you improve yourself, right? You are the number one dynamic. If you can't master yourself, if you can't dominate yourself, the way you think, the way you operate, the decisions you make, what you put into your body, like Erik was talking about, what you eat, what you drink, if you can't dominate and master yourself, the discipline, the consistency, your commitment level, your energy level, if you can't do that, like, nothing else will get in line. So the first domino in everything is yourself. The first domino. And then once you master yourself, you can master all other areas of life. Bottom line. So, and how do you dominate yourself, right? As Erik was talking about, changing your habits, removing the liabilities, as I was speaking about earlier, figuring out what are assets, what are liabilities, what do I need to pour more of my time into, right? Because time is money, as we talked about earlier.
Right.
And how am I going to become the best version of myself? So, I'm able to affect the rest of my dynamics, the rest of the areas of my life.
Take care of you, and then you can start taking care of everybody else.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just using and wasting everybody else's time, most importantly yours. Or first and foremost, I guess most importantly other people's, whatever you think about the grand scheme of things. But if you take care of you first, then your ability to influence and help other people is going to be a lot bigger, is what I took away from that.
Yep.
Love that so much. And that's what the problem I think a lot of people has. They got so much of the wrong info. What was something you guys were told wrong as a kid that you have learned 100% is false?
The biggest thing I had to unlearn.
Money doesn't grow on trees. You see them growing all kinds of trees that make money now. They got fruit trees. They got every kind of tree makes some cash.
Now there's money trees. It's other people.
I just planted a few.
It's relationships.
I mean, it's constantly like what I was programmed with. It's like, slow it down, take it easy, be careful. Don't work too much. Take some time off. Like, all those are all common notions that everyone gets programmed with, and that's what we're talking about here, freedom unleashed, right? Everyone gets trapped into this cage, and they get those handcuffs. That's what the universe wants to do to us as spiritual beings. They want to handcuff us and not allow us to reach our full potential and our full capabilities. It's terrible, man. It's such a disease.
It's wrong. It's criminal, and it just keeps happening generation after generation until somebody finally comes in and breaks the cycle, right? What about you, Eric? What have you learned that was completely untrue?
Just a lot of scarcity minded things, like don't waste all the paper towels, like don't use
I love that one. That's how you get rich, dude.
Like chill with the hot water, you know, like chill.
Oh my gosh.
You take all that savings and then you put it into your 401k, and then one day you'll still be poor.
Yeah,
it's great.
I mean, that's so true. The scarcity mindset,
right?
Something that holds a lot of people back, like, you know, spending an extra $5 for extra meat at Chipotle. Right? Some people can't even fathom that. They're like, oh, $5, that ain't worth it. Well, what ain't worth it is you having to worry about this $5 that you're trying to feed yourself, right? And also, I mean,
it's like that's going to make you more to be fueled up. Like,
yep.
I'm spending too much on food.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna go without
live off of vitamins and flour.
Yeah, I was told, like, don't flush the toilet too many times, or like, well, you know, we'll flush it.
We only flush number 2. We only flush number 2, Ryan.
Like, what
Remember
is
that at my
going
house
on here? Yeah, it's all this like average middle class mindset and thinking and way and operating that is not going to allow you to get that true financial freedom that you want. And it's so like one of the toughest things is really just stripping away that bad data and bad information. Because 100%. Like we're layered with layers of crud and shit from all these years of just like this programming in our mind that's just like holding us down, like, right? Like I said, like we're getting caged down and we're getting handcuffed to this information. And this information is like, it's like from like the 1980s, 1970s, like it's not going to allow you to flourish and prosper in the environment nowadays in the universe. Like it's just not possible. It's not possible. It's just going to continue creating slaves, average people that are, you know, living this average middle class lifestyle and that victim mentality mindset.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And like school is amazing because of the relationships, right? But it's also they need to update the information. Like if you could combine great relationships, right? Because these people that like, there's definitely people I've met from going to school that I've cultivated great relationships with, and it's been a prosperous like exchange between the two of us, right? But there's just the information isn't there, right? So what happens is there's a delay in information. Like I didn't start learning any of this business, you know, sales, entrepreneur, marketing, any of that shit until I completely was like you don't even know about it as a kid, like at least for us.
Right.
So it's like it takes that long just to find. Imagine if we had this information when we were 8 years old versus 26 years old. You know,
I think about it all the time.
It's a huge lag, like so they got to update the systems because there's just no tactical strategies. Like what's the point of taking time to learn something that isn't actually tactical? Like it's just a complete and utter waste of time.
I agree with you 100%. I'm so glad you brought up school.
Yeah, sometimes.
What'd you think of public school, Ryan? You learned everything you know about business.
I was just about to say, sometimes I go back to my hometown in Cleveland, Ohio, and I drive past my high school like, oh wow, look at that prison over there. It's a nice prison. Like it's literally a prison. It's a prison. I mean, you don't get taught anything. It was funny. Someone brought up like, oh, like I told them how I went to private school for like a year or two, and they're like, wow, you must have learned a lot there. I'm like, yeah, I learned more in a year to 2 years in private schooling than I did in my whole public schooling, you know, time period. So it's like, man, I mean, it's so crucial. I mean, this information that is being flooded to the younger generations, and it's happened to us as well, is like, it's a disabling factor of like not allowing us to really create the life that we want. It's so disabling. It disables our spiritual being within us.
It destroys you. It strips you of your humanity. I feel like that all that a school is like you were saying, it's a prison. And what it's really is it's a real life replication of what it is like to be a middle class mind slave for the rest of your life, right? They teach you that you got to basically be somewhere you don't want to be for most of the day, 5 days a week, doing things you don't want to do, not being paid anything for it, even if we get paid. Now, those jobs we all know are not really paying you anything more than what you need to live. School teaching you how to be miserable, do things you don't want to do, and not get paid anything for it, and how to deal with it just for the little bit of happiness you get on the weekends and the friends you make, which is an imitation of the coworkers that you will later meet. You know, these are, and this is how it was devised way back then when they set up the education system, right? You don't need your coworkers to be your friends. All I've noticed, if I see the same person a couple of times and they get familiar to me, they're probably going to be somewhat of an associate or friend with me. Even though I will say I appreciate some of the friends from high school. I can't think of any right now, but I'm sure they're out there that I might still care about, or I'd answer their call if they called me or emailed me or hit me up for a Cash App request like they sometimes like to do. Maybe I'd respond, but in general, I've met all the coolest people like you guys and everyone else out in the real world doing it. I think that kids should be getting mentored by their parents on how to make money, or that there should be mentoring on how to make money, and they should start working maybe at around 10 or 12 into like what they actually want to do or something, or a career. God, 12 years to learn nothing. What grade did you guys stop learning stuff? Mine was second grade. After I learned how to read, write, and do math, it's all I needed to know, how to read a bank statement, baby. You know,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't know shit. I just can't pay attention to something that I don't care about. I just, you have that intuitive sense too, like, is this actually going to like matter in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years? No? All right. Well,
no, poor people told you it matters. They're all sitting there teaching the classes, getting their salary. You know, we got to stay there because how else are they going to get paid?
You got to listen to the government, man. They're going to give you, they're on your side. They're going to give you the right.
They're trying to take care of you, man.
So that way, when you're done with school, you can do something that's completely the opposite to get to where you want to go. So unless you're going to be, and that's very relevant, unless you're like obviously going to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, or anything like that, yeah, you're going to need to go get that degree. But if you're not trying to do that, or something like that, then the relationships are good, but it's more of a use of your time to just, nowadays, especially with technology and how much access there's to so many different things, there's so much opportunity, you might as well just start. I would tell someone to just start younger and just cultivate relationships with people that, instead of going to school, you're going to play like business conferences, you know what I mean? And meeting people there, and that turns into your network. And if you can do that at like even, 18 or even ideally younger, shoot, that'd be crazy to be able to do that younger. Like imagine where someone would be, right, by the time they're like 30. Or even 20, right? Having that information sooner is if they actually wanted us to win, right? The government, they would have gave us that information. But unfortunately, it's not really the case. So you kind of got to like be a free thinker. You got to have technological intelligence, right? Like you can literally find anything online. Like if you're really thinking about something, don't just take other people's word for it, man. Like, go look it up yourself. Like, go do some research. Go, like, dude, you literally can find anything, like, right here. You know what I mean? And you don't have the common sense to just be like, oh, I want to go, sell roofs. Oh, I wonder if I went on Facebook and joined a bunch of roofing groups and just posted that I was looking for a roofing company to work with and that I have sales experience and that, I'll do whatever it takes. I wonder how many jobs I would have, and the answer is a shit ton, dude. A lot of people are looking for good people to work with them, but a lot of people can't even have the common sense to think, oh, I should do that, right? That's That's basically technology intelligence. So, these are skills that everybody, it's just a way to get you quicker to where you're trying to go, compress time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to stem back, what Hershell was saying is like, literally, everything from when you're born till, through schooling, like they're setting you up to just accept the average mediocrity and the slave lifestyle. Yeah, they're literally just brainwashing you with the incorrect data, incorrect way of living, and they don't, like, the universe does not want to see us succeed. Like the world, the universe, the government, they don't want to see us succeed.
Control.
And they want control over you, the way you think, the way you operate, the way, they want you to pay taxes, right? That's why they always talk about, like, all these people, they hate on people that don't pay taxes. Like Donald Trump, they hate Donald Trump because he doesn't pay taxes.
Right.
No, dude, if you did what the government did, if asked you to do, they would eventually help you out. Like, eventually they're going to come by and help you out.
Well, I was talking to somebody about abolishing the IRS, and he was like, wouldn't it be great to get rid of taxes? He's like, goes back to where everybody else, all the people that are doing great things continue to make this country more beautiful. I was like, you know why they wouldn't get rid of taxes? Because even if the poor, the lower class would not, doesn't want to pay taxes themselves, they want the upper class to be punished. They want someone to step in and punish other people. And it goes back to when we were children, how everybody at 5 years old was a tattletale. And there is nothing that turns on the cynical side of a human being better than seeing somebody great get taken for everything, fall, or be punished for crimes that you believe they committed simply by existing. It's so silly to be that miserable that you just want other people that are doing better to you just to be as miserable as you or worse. The only way you could ever be as happy or successful as them is if you stole everything from them. It's insanity to think that way.
Wow.
Right? I mean, that's what I've been like feeling as far as the government and everything else that I've ever seen. The school is just a mini government. You don't do what they want you to. You don't want to sit still for 7-8 hours a day while you're 9 years old. Then you have to go to the principal's office. Then you go sit in detention, which is your small prison, where now you get to go hang out with all the other people who couldn't fall in line, and it just seems like everybody's trying to punish you for trying to be successful and trying to make it. Yet, whenever you are unsuccessful and aren't making it, the world punishes you anyway. So it's, which side would you rather be on? And the funny thing is they won't tell you the other side. And the problem is if they were really teaching you how to make money, all of the teachers that are there would figure it out and they'd quit their job. And then who's going to teach the brainwashing materials to make our next generation of slaves? We're going to run out of them.
Bam, boom, man, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, you tell someone that, like you mentioned earlier, like you tell someone that you're looking to become filthy rich or like mega successful, they'll scold at you. They'll be like, man, you're crazy. Like, you're so egotistical. But if you tell someone like, oh, like I'm happy with life, I'm making $60K a year, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Nice. I want to be your friend. Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Bring your next paycheck. I'll put it on my refrigerator.
That's awesome.
Everybody can see it when they come over. Good job, little buddy. Like Alex Hormozy was saying, people want you doing good, but they don't want you doing better than them. Right? So when you're doing worse than them, they like you the most. When as soon as you're doing better than them, it's almost impossible to hide the envy. It's really difficult. Everybody's guilty of it. It's just knowing that you're doing it, I feel like, is that self-awareness of like, what is upsetting me right now? Am I upset with this person for having success, or am I really just upset with myself for not having success and refusing to make myself the target of my criticisms? I hate it. I'm not into it. I'd much rather just accept that, I suck sometimes. I got to do better, and that the only person standing in my way is me. At least as far as I've seen it. As Grant says all the time, everywhere I go, man, there I am. I say everywhere I go, it's me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't run from myself.
Everyone deals with the same problems. It's just who's going to be a victim and who's not, right? Don't play the victim.
Right.
It happens to everybody. Like, quit being a bitch and just realize that and figure out the solution. Like, stop looking at the problem and just
tell the truth.
Think about what you can do, like, to solve it now, or make it better. Like, be like, oh, okay, how do I even like turn this around so I can make it better than where it initially started?
100%, dude. That's what Grant says in our I think all of our favorite chapters, right? Chapter 12 would be obsessed or be average, obsessed with persistence. He says, I'm ready to drop a hammer on you. I've been waiting to drop this hammer 11 chapters now. He said, quit feeling sorry for yourself. It's selfish. It's self-centered. And quit complaining. Quit belly aching. And quit being a little bee.
Yeah.
He's like, what is it? Problems, shortcomings, and all of these things are part of the game for everybody. Get over it. I like
oh, go ahead. I mean, which side of hard do you want to be on, right? Just like you said, Hershell. I mean, which side of hard do you want to be on? Like,
Hershell. I like that.
Hershell. There we go.
Hershell.
Go ahead.
I mean, you're either going to be on the side of hard of like not reaching full financial freedom and being a victim, being a slave, being in the average middle class society, or you're going to be on the side of like being, creating that true financial freedom. Like, it's going to be hard one way or the other. Creating success is hard. Not creating success is hard.
Yeah. People ask, like, you have so much energy. How do you do it? It's from doing. Like, it's like success. It's like hard, but it's like, dude, it's harder to be more tired. Like, you get more tired the less you do. But like people can't fathom that though, because they do it and then they're like, oh my god, that's why everyone starts shit for like 3 days. They're all pumped up, and then they stop because then they get tired, they get sore, they can't fight through it. You realize that you can't like keep going and get to that next level of whatever it is without fighting through that setback, that pain, whatever it is. Like, there's always a bigger prize on the other side. So if you can just continue to push through that and do it consistently, you're gonna have more energy. Like, dude, I know Loede, like everybody knows Loede. He can go for days, and the reason why is because all he does is take action. He's working out, he's reading a book, he's doing positive shit. Like, so the only thing his mind is telling him is go, 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 right? Like same for me, right? Every day I'm just like, we got to get this done. And then the more you do, the more you like think of other shit that you can do to, get to where you're going quicker. So it's same with you, Hershell. I know you're a freaking killer, dude. You're always doing shit. Like, you're never tired. Fucking 11 p.m. You're like, you could literally have full burst of energy, freaking close a water deal, hour too long demo. You'd be in that house till 1 a.m. still laughing with them. Like, it's energy, right? You do it, you get energy.
I agree with you, man. What if it was like unbelievable, unstoppable energy? I think the only way you could possibly get that is to realize you already had it.
Yep.
That's so great. No, I agree with everything you were saying there, Erik. That is, if you can get your energy under control and realize that you're not tired, that you're lazy, or you're not tired, you just don't want to do what it is you're supposed to be doing, then maybe you can start doing what you want to do. Problem is, what people want to do, I feel like what we were taught we want to do is stuff that losers taught us we wanted to do because it's what we did with them, and we associate it to this winning. Like Alex Becker was talking about, he's like, the issue with drugs is like you get the cheat code. He's like, you have to have so much success to get that endorphin rush that you get from drugs or alcohol. He's like, so it's way easier to just cheat the system and just be a loser, but feel like a winner, right? But you never really feel that way. And what he's saying is, that you're not really, what's going to make you ultimately happy is not what's going to make you feel good today.
Boom. What a great way to end it off. Very strong. So we're going to be coming live every single Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, talking about how to unleash yourself from the cage, from the trap, from the handcuffs that the universe tries to put on you, and really reach that point of true financial freedom. Getting rid of the wrong information, getting in the right environment, surrounding yourself with the right people, and ultimately how to create your own life and freedom. So appreciate everyone tuning in. It's your boy Ryan Loede here with my two guys. We got Erik.
Good seeing y'all. We'll see you guys every Friday. Tune in.
I can't wait.
Let's go.